Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Explorer Classroom. My name is Gina Borgia, and I am so glad you are joining us today. At National Geographic, we believe in the power of exploration, wonder, and storytelling to change our world for the better. This Explorer Classroom YouTube show connects students around the world with our National Geographic Explorers for short lessons and time for your questions. Today, our explorer is Ana María Benavides. Ana is an ecologist from Colombia who studies epiphytes. What is an epiphyte, you ask? Well, one example is an air plant. Ana is one of the few female epiphyte researchers in the world, and she is proud to work at the Medellín Botanic Gardens in Colombia, where she will be teaching us all about air plants today and other tropical plants. Ana loves telling people about air plants as well as the other plants in Colombian forests. She and her team are working together to help people appreciate and protect forest plants, including involving community members of all ages in protecting the plants that provide our world with so many benefits. Ana is joined by her colleague and project technician, Alejandro Arango, today, live from the Botanic Gardens. But first, before we get there, let's do a great big welcome to all of the viewers joining us today. We have shout outs for Duke of Connaught, Thomas Jefferson Middle School, Masonville Public School, New Hope Christian School, Aquinas Montessori School, the Fenn family, Evergreen Elementary School, St. Benedict CES, the Golden family, Cyril K. Brennan Middle School, First Baptist Christian Academy, and all of our homeschools out there. We are so thrilled to have you here. And with that, let's get this Explorer Classroom started. It's time to turn it over to Ana and Alejandro to share all about epiphytes from the Botanic Garden. Take it away. Oh, Ana, there we go.
Sorry. Okay. Now, welcome to Medellín Botanical Garden. We are in the tropicals. So I'm going to show you where we are right now. Here is Colombia. We are in the North Hemisphere, like United States, like you, and we are in the same continent. But also it's important that you know that we are in the Andean mountain. That is the longest mountain in the world, the longest range mountain in the world. They go through Chile to the north and go to Colombia. So we are really in a huge mountain here and in the tropics. And what happened in the tropics? Something that is sometimes difficult to explain because we have the same time during the day and the night. We have more or less 12 hours during the day and 12 hours during the night. So we have the same length of the day. And this, in the tropics, this causes that we have this green around us because we have a lot of sunlight. And I want to tell you more about plants today, but first I want to present this beautiful tree. It's a ceiba. And this ceiba, that is also called capo, is one of the tallest trees in the tropics. They can be tallest like a building of 10 floors. And in fact, this is a little bit small, but they're going to be huge. And you can imagine how old is this tree? It's more than 100 years old. And I want to invite you to give a hue to this tree. And then we are going to talk more about plants. The plants support all the life in the world. It's something that we always hear in the classes and everywhere, but really they support the life in our world in a very specific way, like they produce the oxygen. Humans and all the animals we need oxygen. And without the plants that transport the land or the air before we evolve here, they make the oxygen, then other animals like us, we can breathe. And they also produce and transform all the ecosystem in the world. They produce the soil and transform the lands that we can see around the world. Since the ocean, like with teeny plants like algae, and for the tropics, where you can find this huge tree. And then with all this transformation that the plants made many years ago, many different forms of plants evolved in our planet. And then I want to present the tropical forest. We are going to walk a little bit around this now. And please walk with me and open your eyes. And I'm going to describe many plants that you can see here. And what I want to show you today is the different life forms. Pay attention to the different colors. Maybe you can hear something, birds in the background of my voice. Palm, trees, and just watch around and see the different plants that you can see. And we have these lianas that can go through the tree and to the canopy and go very high on top of the forest. Then we have trees, lianas like this that are around the tree, palms, herbs. Alejandro, can you show the plants there? Yes. So what I want to show you is that we have a different amount of different species, and each species have a different life form. And each life form have different adaptations. So we are going to walk, and I just want that you observe. You can see the different form of the leaves. I'm going to show you a very beautiful leaf. And can you see the difference of the colors? This is green, this is a little bit more yellow, and this is kind of red. So everything is an adaptation to live in this forest. They can take the sunlight, transform it in energy to live. And in the process produce oxygen. And with the oxygen, we like animals, we can breathe. And today we are going to talk of a very specific kind of plants. But now I want to show you first what you can find in a tropical forest. Maybe you watch the Oscars and probably see them, Sebastián Yatra song, Dos Oruguitas. And if you were aware of the, would you say, the scenic of the Oscars, they have a lot of plants. And many of these plants we can find here in this tropical forest that we have in the Botanical Garden. And now I want to present the epiphytic plant. Epiphytes live on the trees. And they just need water, like all the plants, nutrients, sunlight to live, and they can just live there on top of the trees, on the trunk, on the branches, and everywhere. See what different colors have these plants, like white and green. It looks like painting that someone paint. And I want to show you this, that is a purple. And everything is beautiful, but also everything is have a reasons for the adaptation of the plants. In this case, is to take more efficient the light, because if you notice, when we were outside the forest, there were more light, and now it's kind of dark, not completely dark, but it's shade. And in the understory, that is this part, the plants have to have different strategies to take the sunlight. And in this case, is to have different pigments in the leaves. And that happens with herbs and with other plants of life forms. And now I want to present in full for epiphytes or air plants. And I want to show you some of specific adaptation and what is important these plants. These plants can live on top of the trees, on the branches, but you see here, you can also have this in a pot, and they have a little pieces of wood like this. Alejo, they can see this. And I'm going to show you, maybe in some of your areas you can see these plants, because they have a wide distribution in the world. This is the most famous air plant. And maybe you can ask, what happened with the root, with the trunk of this plant? So this is an adaptation to take the water of the atmosphere. And maybe you are, what? Atmosphere, water, what does it mean? I just want to show you. You see that in this moment, this plant look like gray, and look what happened now. They can take the water of the atmosphere. Here I added a little bit more than normally, but they can take the water with small leaves that they have around this. And you see that something happened with the color. They turn more green now. And the green is important because it's the color to make when it's not really a color, it's the pigment to take the light to make photosynthesis and to produce energy. So now, like, the green was active because they have water, and they absorb the water through the leaves. So they really don't need roots. They have these teeny, teeny, teeny leaves that they can absorb. And every plant or epiphytic plant have different adaptation. I'm going to show you more about this. So this plant doesn't have really like a root, but maybe others can have roots like this. This is a beautiful orchid, Cattleya. And I want to show you something. The roots of these plants that live on the trees are like a sponge. If you touch this, it's like very soft. And when you bring a little bit of water, they can like take all this water very quickly, like when the rain go through the tree, and they are very efficient taking this water because they live on the top of the trees, where they don't have the contact of water like in the soil. So they have these beautiful adaptations to take water because they need, all the plants need light, luz, water, agua, nutrients that they can take through the roots, or in this case of this earth plant, through these tiny leaves, and carbon. And what is carbon? The carbon are here in our atmosphere. And they take the carbon, like small cookies of carbon, through the leaves. Small pores that are here on the leaves. And this carbon is what make the plants grow. And we are also made of carbon, the animals that live in this planet. And now I want to show you another plant that is very common in my city, and just found this plant this morning on the floor because there were a huge, how you say, raining yesterday, and they just fall from a tall tree. And you know what is this plant? It's a cactus. And this plant can live on the branches of a tree, and all these green forms are like the leaves, but they have like this adaptation to take care of the water, to retain the water on the stems, on the leaves. So there are many different forms, strategies, and adaptation of plants to live in this tropical forest. And I also want to show you these plants. This is also epiphyte, tank plant. And maybe you are asking, why a tank? What is that? And Alejandro is going to try to show you that inside of these leaves, there are water. And you see? And inside of this water, they can live many different animals, like frogs, snakes, mosquitoes, very different kind of insects. And what I want to do now is to show how, how much water can be here. What do you say? How much water can be here? Like a glass of water. So in the case of these plants, they take the water from the rain, and they are here in this kind of tank. So we call these plants the tank plants. So there are many different strategies, and I can talk during all the day about all these different strategies. Also, I want to show you this. This is an orchid. The leaf is soft, and here there is something like a more white, and in this area they can take like the sugars, like the lunch for the when they don't have nutrients, they can take the nutrients from here. So they take the nutrients for the periods when they can take nutrients from the atmosphere or from the trees. So as you see how many different species, strategies, adaptations to live in this tropical forest. And we are just talking about epiphyte, these plants that live on the trees. Also, I want to show you some beautiful flowers because these plants need insects like bees, butterflies, or also birds to reproduce because they have a very specific form of reproduction. And I'm going to try to show you something. These are the pollinias. That is where the pollen is. The pollen is like the male reproductive cells, and this plant can also take this cell, this pollen, and have here. Normally, an insect can do this. I just want to show you how this works. So every plant, every species have a different pollinator. The pollinator is the animal or the organism that bring the pollen to other plants to make seeds and to make fruits. And then the reproduction starts again. And for orchids, this is very specific. And you can see the different colors are special because they attract another insects like this. And another special thing of this plant is that they have a narrow distribution. For example, this species, they only occur around my city and in no other places on the world. So they are very unique of this area. There are other species that can be around all the world. And I just want to show you something very special that we found this morning. This is an airplane. Maybe in some areas near your home you can find this. And they like to live on small trees, on small branches like this. But they also can live on the wires, electrical wires. And I want to show you these little plants. Alejo, they can see there. These are the seedlings of these plants. So they are living there. And this is a typical airplane. You see, they turn a little bit more to produce energy, to make photosynthesis, to be alive. So just going to repeat again what plants need. They need light, sunlight. They need water. And in this case of air plant, they take the water from the atmosphere. They need nutrients. The nutrients can go through the roots, or in this case of this specific plant, they go through the leaves, and they need carbon. Also, the carbon is here in our atmosphere. All this is what plants need. These are the principle of the life of plants. And now, I think that we are going to, maybe Alejo, can you show that plant? And you see these different colors? There are the flowers that are preparing to open. Maybe tomorrow they going to expand. And also I want to show you that some of these leaves have these spikes. So you have to be very careful in sometimes. And also because sometimes there are frogs and another animals here. In this case, it's just water. And here you can see this. This is to have water and nutrients in case that they have to be in a season, a very drought season, that they don't have water, they take this here. And this is called pseudobulbo. And have you seen these? Are small plants, mosses, that protect also the orchids to lose water. So all these plants have very specific interaction that depends of the forest, depends of the insects that live in the forest, and depend also of teeny plants like the mosses. And we want to show you now how they look in the tropical forest. Alejandro, that is with us with the camera, is going to show us the plants that we have here. And just look around. How many different plants can you see? And look at this. This is the root of the bromelia, like the tongue plant. In this case, they have this root because they have to attach to the tree. But these roots are more for the attach, and the leaves are to take the water. So you are welcome to visit us in Medellín. This botanical garden is in the middle of the city. And also we want to invite you to explore around you. You can just go around your park, near your houses or your backyard, and you can take photos and to connect, more connected with nature. Just you have the opportunity to observe. So we are now very happy to answer your questions and to just hear you and see you. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Ana, for sharing everything with us today. We have one last question for you that we'd like to ask all of our explorers on the show. Do you have any general advice for all of the young explorers out there?
Our advice is to explore, to be connected with the nature. You don't have to travel to the tropics. You don't have to travel to a very far away place. Just walk around your house and you can see little plants, insects that live in our cities, and just like wake up your curiosity and take photos and share what you see. And you are just at the beginning of to connected with a lot of people that love nature and want to teach and to share what we know.
Well, thank you so much, Ana, for sharing your amazing work with us and for taking us on this beautiful tour of the botanical gardens. And of course, thank you again to Alejandro for assisting and the great camera work. Thank you both. And we want to thank all of the students out there. We appreciate your thoughtful questions and thank you for the teachers for making these events possible for your students. I hope you join many more of our events, but like most of you, Explorer Classroom will be taking a short spring break. So there will be no events next week, the first week of April, but we'll be right back here on Monday, April 11th with Explorer Rachel Miller, and she's going to teach us how we can help clean up the ocean. And the week after that, we have very special events live from the Amazon for Earth Day. So be sure to check out our schedule and register your student group for a shout out during the event and a chance to be up here on screen with us at natgeoed.org/Explorer Classroom. I hope everyone has a great day. Stay curious, keep